the opportunity to be here today to speak on behalf of Amtrak and the good people that work at Amtrak. 2019, despite some of your anecdotal comments, was a record-breaking year for Amtrak in ridership, revenue passenger miles, and customer service approval scores. But most importantly, the last time I was here, or 2 times ago, our main focus was safety. And I'm pleased to report that Amtrak has had a very successful year installing PTC with our host railroads, and we're in full compliance with the PTC statute. And we have implemented the first SMS program, the safety management program, in the rail industry ahead of the FRA guidelines. If you look across our safety statistics, we had significant improvement in all of the key safety metrics across Amtrak. And I think that's probably the first and foremost policy issue we should always keep in front of mind. Let's move to reauthorization. A lot of people will take a lot of criticisms of Amtrak, and I'll try to answer those as we go, but we're really here to think about what the future is. And when we think about America adding 100 million people over the course of the next 30 to 40 years, those people are going to live in urban areas and in urban corridors. We already see that. And in many areas in the country, Amtrak has turned into the key inner city mode of transportation because we have to address climate change. And we can't address climate change just by adding more lanes because there isn't more room for more lanes on an interstate highway system with about 18,000 miles. The most efficient way to get people short haul between cities in this country is going to be on trains. We already see it in the Northeast Corridor. We carry or support 800,000 trips a day on a busy day between Washington, D.C., Boston, and Springfield. We're the #1 way to travel between Milwaukee and Chicago. We are the way to travel between San Diego and Los Angeles. So as these urban areas grow, they become saturated with population. The delay miles on freeways grow and grow. The freeways can't really be expanded. We expand our carbon footprint exponentially with one car, one driver at a time. And the ultimate answer is going to be, and the millennial generation is telling us that, living in dense urban corridors with mass transit. And that's the trend that we're seeing not just in inner city rail, but you see Minneapolis-St. Paul building a big light rail addition. In Denver, Colorado, it has really revolutionized building in the inner core of the city. And even the city I've lived in for some time, which for a long time the northern suburbs fought having mass transit, now realize they have to have mass transit because I-85 and I-75 are so congested. So as we think about reauthorization, we really need to reposition Amtrak as a modern mode of transportation similar to what we see in Europe and what we see in Japan, where we provide high-quality, reliable service 200 to 300 miles connecting cities in dense urban corridors. We can't afford what the highway bill is, and I loved what Chairman DeFazio said. We can spend $2 to $3 billion a year of the general fund on aviation. We can borrow the money to put in the highway fund. No one ever talks about all the money we spend on locks and dams up and down the Mississippi River or in our ports and harbors. Passenger rail is just as important, and it's the answer to global warming in terms of transportation. So let me really quick, the points on reauthorization. First is safety. PTC, SMS should be first priority as a matter of policy. Second, we appreciate but want to be certain that we continue sufficient and dedicated predictable funding for Amtrak, particularly for capital. Give us the tools to address on-time performance. Give us a framework to address the demands for transportation in the future, inner city and short-haul markets. and let's clarify our goals and priorities for intercity passenger rail. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today.
Now recognize